Okay, so I just wanted to talk about neighbors. When you live in an apartment, you deal with neighbors. You deal with the people above you, below you, and on either side of you. That's just how it works here in New York and I guess other cities. Um, Now, I have to say, right now where I'm living, I'm pretty lucky. I've had some pretty awful neighbors in the past. I've had loud, crazy, drunken, drug addicted, mentally ill people who just had zero regard for me or my needs. The people here are pretty civil, but sometimes they get on my nerves. Like the people upstairs who were the guy basically all day. I guess he had the day off because it's Memorial Day. He has been playing his guitar and he's been playing this same Led Zeppelin song over and over again. You know, the really wanna know. Oh, and it's a great song, but I don't need to hear it 500 times. And it's funny when they first moved in, we were really nice, and we traded numbers and we texted, and every now and then I'd just say, "Hey, hi, would you mind just keeping it down a little?" And they were very friendly. But now I feel like they've gotten impatient. Like they'll accommodate us to a point. And it's a long story, but they have like an animal up there, a dog or a cat that runs, and it sounds like someone's rolling a fucking bowling ball over the floor, and it just happens so randomly. And we were just dealing with it, not saying anything because it's sort of their right to have an animal. But one time we heard that at 5:30 in the morning in the bedroom. So we called the guy. We waited till it was later. And he was at work. He's like, I don't know what that is. I'll have to talk to my wife. And then like an hour later, we get this very terse text message which says, we'll get an automatic feeder and set it for 5:30 in the morning. Meanwhile, didn't acknowledge that, yes, we have a dog and that's what you heard. Sorry about that. Just, we'll get a feeder. So anyway, this guy now with his guitar. Anyway, it could be worse. But we also have these other neighbors next door, and it's really hilarious because the girl she's the definition of mousy. Whenever you run into her, she's so quiet and meek and like soft spoken. But she has, I assume it's a boyfriend, because it's a guy who's there all the time, who has the loudest booming voice, and he laughs like this. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I mean, it's like the walls freaking vibrate when this guy is going at it. And it's not a big deal. It doesn't happen that often. But it's the sort of thing where it's minor enough that it would be really uncomfortable for me to go over and be like, hi, I know you're not like yelling or anything, but can you just like not laugh so loud? So this is like so me. I love doing little passive aggressive things like this. I'll admit it. It's passive aggressive. But, he was over and he was just being his loud self and laughing really loud. So just out of nowhere, I just start singing at the top of my lungs, and I'm not even going to sing as loud as I did. I was just singing, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine. And so on and so on. And it was so funny because their talking stopped completely. And it's almost like a light went off. They were like, oh, if we can hear him, then he can probably hear us. So I felt like the message needed to be sent without this kind of like weird undercurrent of hostility and asking, please, can you just be quiet? Thank you. So that's just my neighbor situation. And yeah, I guess it could be worse, but I just like, I don't know. I have fantasies that I could just like change the laws of physics so that I don't ever have to hear people, so that I can be in my little quantum of solace and just not be affected, because I can't deal with people and their noises and their selfishness. And I feel like the day's going to come when we will be able to defy the laws of physics and just like, not even defy, master physics, and just block out all unwanted, unnecessary sounds, sights, whatever. And we're going to look back at this time and be like, can you remember when like, if we lived next door to someone who was loud, we had to hear it? Not anymore. We've got all this great technology. I can't wait for that day. I hope I'm still alive when that day comes so that I can live in peace. Amen. Amen.